Did you know there's a secret that most billionaires follow to build their massive fortunes? And it all started with the first ever billionaire in history. John D. Rockefeller, a name synonymous with wealth, once made a bold statement. The ability to earn money in the right way is the most stable thing in the world. Think about that for a moment. What if you could harness that very ability to create wealth beyond your wildest dreams? Where money no longer feels like a struggle, but a tool that works for you. Sounds too good to be true, right? Wrong. Today, we're going to shatter that myth and uncover the extraordinary strategies Rockefeller used to turn a few dollars into billions, strategies that remain just as powerful today. Stick with me until the end of this video, because I'm not just sharing Rockefeller's story. I'm giving you the keys to unlock his principles and transform your financial future. This isn't another generic finance video. This is a roadmap to a new mindset, one where wealth becomes achievable, not just for billionaires, but for anyone willing to understand the game. So, if you're ready to take control of your financial destiny, hit that subscribe button and prepare for insights that could change your life. Now, let's rewind the clock and dive into the journey of the man who set the standard for modern wealth. In 1855, a 16-year-old Rockefeller took his first bold step into the world of business. With $2,000 as startup capital, $1,200 of which he borrowed from his father, he co-founded his first venture. That may not seem like much today, but that decision was the spark that ignited one of the greatest fortunes in history. By the time Rockefeller passed away in 1937, his wealth was estimated at $1.4 billion, which, in today's dollars, would equal an astounding $318 billion. For context, even Elon Musk, one of the wealthiest men alive, has a net worth of only $219 billion. So, what was Rockefeller's secret? Surprisingly, it all began with a simple yet transformative habit. At just 7 years old, he earned his first few cents working on a neighbor's farm, harvesting potatoes and raising rabbits. But here's where it gets interesting. Inspired by his mother, Rockefeller started tracking every penny in a small ledger. This wasn't just bookkeeping. It was the foundation of a mindset that would separate him from the masses. In the rest of this video, we'll break down how Rockefeller's financial habits, strategies, and mindset can be applied to your life, no matter where you're starting from. What you're about to discover isn't just history. It's a blueprint for building a future of financial freedom. Stay tuned, because this is just the beginning of your transformation. Imagine this, a 7-year-old boy carefully writing down every cent he earned and spent, crafting the foundation of a habit that would follow him for nearly a century. John D. Rockefeller, who lived an incredible 97 years, kept meticulous financial records throughout his life. These records weren't just scribbles in a notebook. They were the early versions of what we now call a cash flow statement, the tool that businesses rely on to track their finances. This single practice, started as a child, became one of Rockefeller's greatest strengths, shaping a financial empire the world had never seen. But how does someone from a modest background develop such a mindset? Rockefeller grew up in a low-income family, with little information available about how much his father earned. What we do know is that his father was a traveling salesman, often away from home. This left Rockefeller's mother to manage the household finances on her own. With limited resources, she developed an extraordinary ability to stretch every dollar, a skill she passed on to her children. John witnessed firsthand how careful financial planning could make a difference, and these lessons stayed with him throughout his life. While his parents had aspirations for him to attend university, Rockefeller had other plans. He enrolled in a commercial college and focused on accounting courses, believing that understanding numbers was the key to success. After completing his studies, he landed a job as an assistant accountant. It wasn't long before his passion for numbers set him apart. While others avoided the tedious task of reviewing completed projects, Rockefeller thrived, often volunteering for the work others dismissed. His dedication didn't go unnoticed. Starting with a modest salary of $17 a month, Rockefeller's earnings quickly increased to $25 in his second month. Within a year, he was promoted to manager with an annual salary of $800, a remarkable achievement at the time. This wasn't just luck. It was a testament to his commitment to financial literacy and the discipline he had developed since childhood. Rockefeller's story is a powerful reminder of the importance of personal financial education. His rise from a young accountant to the world's first billionaire wasn't just about hard work, it was about understanding how to manage, multiply, and respect money. If there's one lesson you take from this, let it be this: financial literacy isn't just a skill. It's the foundation for achieving lasting wealth. And just like Rockefeller, you can start building your financial empire with the right knowledge and habits. Most people fear debt, believing it to be a trap that should be avoided at all costs. But John D. Rockefeller's story flips this belief on its head, revealing that borrowing, when done strategically, can be a powerful tool for building wealth. Imagine if Rockefeller had refused to borrow the money he needed to start his first business. It's likely he would have spent his life working for someone else, never becoming the world's first billionaire. Instead, borrowed money became an essential part of his strategy, one that entrepreneurs today can learn from. Rockefeller didn't just borrow recklessly. He borrowed wisely. Even when he had enough capital to fund projects himself, he often preferred to involve other investors, selling shares in his ventures to secure additional funds. He also made it a priority to keep a financial reserve, ensuring he had a safety net for unexpected challenges. And when no investors were available, Rockefeller wasn't afraid to fully finance projects out of his own pocket or take on more debt to keep his vision alive. Take his first business as an example, a small logistics company. In its first year, Rockefeller handled contracts worth $500,000, a staggering amount for the time. To meet the demands of these contracts, he quickly found himself short on funds, already in debt to his father, who had lent him money at a steep 10% annual interest rate. Rockefeller sought additional loans wherever he could find them. It wasn't easy. Borrowing money back then wasn't as straightforward as walking into a bank, yet Rockefeller persevered. His success wasn't just about borrowing, but borrowing with a plan and ensuring every penny was put to productive use. There's a misconception that only the financially illiterate take on debt. Rockefeller's life proves otherwise. The difference lies in the way he approached borrowing. He saw loans as a bridge to greater opportunities, not as a liability to be feared. His secret? He was unwavering in fulfilling his financial obligations. No matter how tight the situation, Rockefeller always paid his debts on time. In fact, his commitment to honoring agreements became a cornerstone of his reputation and success. In his memoir, How I Made $500 Million, Rockefeller recounts a pivotal moment when his father showed up unannounced at his office, demanding a loan repayment at the worst possible time. Despite the pressure, Rockefeller found a way to meet the obligation. This level of discipline and reliability set him apart, earning him the trust of investors and creditors alike. The lesson here is clear. Borrowing isn't inherently bad. It's how you use it that matters. Debt, when managed with discipline and foresight, can be a stepping stone to success, just as it was for Rockefeller. If you're afraid of loans, remember this. The key isn't avoiding debt, but using it to create opportunities and always fulfilling your obligations. Rockefeller mastered this balance, and it became one of the most powerful tools in his journey to wealth. Rockefeller's approach to borrowing money wasn't just strategic. It was deeply methodical, and this mindset earned him an unparalleled reputation in the financial world. Even his own father, who lent him money at steep interest rates, would arrive unannounced, demanding payments at inconvenient times. Was this by design, a lesson in discipline, or pure coincidence? Rockefeller himself couldn't say for sure, but one thing was certain. No matter how challenging the situation, he always repaid his debts on time and in full. This unwavering commitment to his obligations did more than satisfy creditors. It built a financial reputation so strong that banks would later lend to him on nothing more than his word. For Rockefeller, trust wasn't just a virtue. It was a currency. His ability to secure funding wasn't just about the money in his accounts. It was about the confidence others had in his word and his actions. The takeaway here is critical. Your financial reputation is one of your greatest assets. Monitoring your credit history and consistently fulfilling your obligations can open doors that money alone cannot. Rockefeller's confidence in borrowing stemmed from his careful calculations. Every decision he made, whether borrowing or investing, was grounded in meticulous planning. He didn't take loans randomly or out of desperation. He analyzed every aspect: how much he needed, when he'd repay it, and how it would generate a return. Even when investing his own funds, he applied the same rigor, ensuring every dollar contributed to increased production, reduced costs, or higher profits. His innovations in the oil industry are a testament to this calculated approach. Rockefeller was the first in the United States to transport oil in rail-mounted tanks instead of wooden barrels, hauled by horse-drawn wagons. This switch not only slashed transportation costs, but also revolutionized the industry, enabling faster, larger-scale distribution across the country. Similarly, he stopped cutting corners on safety in oil refineries after recognizing the long-term costs of fires and inefficiencies in poorly built facilities. The early American refineries were often little more than wooden sheds, prone to constant accidents. Rockefeller's decision to invest in safety wasn't just about avoiding disaster, it was about ensuring the sustainability and growth of his operations. These principles highlight the core of Rockefeller's genius, understanding the true cost of every decision, whether it was the price of borrowing, the payoff of an investment, or the long-term impact of safety improvements. He calculated each move with precision. For Rockefeller, wealth wasn't just a matter of earning money, it was about building systems that multiplied it consistently over time. His ability to weigh costs, foresee outcomes, and innovate within his industry created a legacy that continues to inspire entrepreneurs and investors today. The oil industry in Rockefeller's time was filled with skeptics. Many believed oil was a temporary gold rush, destined to run dry, and saw no point in investing heavily in infrastructure. Rockefeller, however, thought differently. He didn't just see oil as a resource, he saw it as an opportunity to create systems and innovations that would outlast the resource itself. His foresight, combined with bold investments, allowed him to dominate the industry and shape its future. One of his most ingenious strategies involved oil transportation. Exporting oil required efficient systems to transfer it from storage tanks to ships. Rather than waiting for someone else to solve the problem, Rockefeller invested his own money to equip key railway stations with the necessary infrastructure. Initially, it appeared he was offering this equipment to the railroads for free, but this wasn't generosity, it was strategy. By equipping these stations, Rockefeller secured a massive reduction in transportation tariffs. His competitors paid 3 times more to ship their oil by rail, giving Rockefeller an unparalleled cost advantage. Rockefeller's innovation wasn't limited to oil. He owned several iron mines, and when he realized it was more efficient to transport ore via ships rather than trains, he didn't hesitate to act. Instead of relying on existing systems, he built his own fleet from scratch, reshaping how resources were moved across the country. This move, like many others, was initially met with resistance from his partners. They saw the idea as too risky and refused to invest. But Rockefeller knew how to persuade them. He simply said, "Fine, I'll invest my own money and all the profits will be mine." The moment his partners saw Rockefeller's confidence and willingness to take the risk alone, they quickly changed their tune. Everyone in his circle understood one thing: if Rockefeller was ready to invest his own money, the idea was almost guaranteed to succeed. Rockefeller's ability to see potential where others saw obstacles was a cornerstone of his success. He wasn't afraid of risk, but his risks were always calculated, backed by careful analysis and an unshakable belief in his vision. His innovations, combined with a relentless focus on efficiency, allowed him to maintain a competitive edge that others couldn't replicate. The principles Rockefeller followed weren't just about making money. They were about mastering the concept of wealth. His financial strategies are timeless truths that, when applied correctly, can transform lives. They're deceptively simple, but that simplicity is what makes them so powerful. For those willing to embrace these principles, the path to financial independence and success becomes clearer. Rockefeller didn't just leave behind an empire, he left behind a blueprint. So, if you're ready to take control of your financial future, start by learning from the man who turned obstacles into opportunities and risks into rewards. These lessons aren't just for the elite. They're for anyone determined to build wealth and create a lasting legacy. This is the Climbing Wealth channel. If you found this video helpful, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more personal finance videos. Until then, keep climbing.